The Capitol campus has changed a lot in the past year. While renovation work started on the Capitol Dome in early 2022, now the entire building is closed down as work continues on a near $300 million update, making the building more ADA accessible, building more bathrooms, updating the wiring, and so on. It's required each branch of government to spread out to some new or former spaces. For the legislative branch, an entire temporary structure was put together over the past year for the House and Senate to conduct its business. And on Tuesday, we'll get to take the training wheels off and finally use these new chambers. Representative Meade, let's start the conversation with you here. The biggest impact to those of us watching right now is certainly going to be the accessibility. Having been inside the new temporary chambers myself, I know it's a very, very tight space, but ultimately a gallery space was just not feasible there. Are we losing something by not having that I guess, fishbowl effect of folks being able to kind of take part in the process?
I think for the general public just to come in and be able to watch and experience that I think there's something taken away there, and I definitely hate that. As far as the proceedings of the House and the Senate go, I don't think that it's going to change anything. You know, there's always been rules that in the gallery you must remain quiet. You can't interfere with business and proceedings, so it's more of a spectator thing from the gallery. And so what we're going to try to do is make sure that we have that same access just digitally. So we're setting up 4 committee rooms while we're in session, 2 for the House, 2 for the Senate, that we will have a streaming live broadcast the entire time that we're doing our proceedings in the House and the Senate. We're also increasing the LRC YouTube channel to make sure that folks can see us as we proceed live, and then of course KET will continue to do their streaming as well. So we're trying to make sure that the constituents are involved as much as possible, and of course any day that they would like to, they can still come see us in our offices.
Representative Watkins, how are you feeling about the new space?
Apprehensive but excited as well. You have to remember, I'm still a freshman, so anything that's new is going to be intriguing and exciting for me, but I do think there's something to be said about the loss of the gallery space, and I think everyday people are going to feel a bit more disconnected from how Frankfort works, and that's important to acknowledge. I'm a firm believer that people understand government where they feel it and where they experience it, so not having that fishbowl effect is going to impact folks. I'm glad to hear, and I didn't think it was going to impact our day-to-day operations, and just like Representative Meade said, that people can still come and visit us. I think it's going to be incumbent upon us as legislators to provide more opportunities and face time with people now that that part is going to be gone.
Even though nothing is really going to be changing in terms of the process, is there anything even just minor y'all want to talk about, just getting used to the new space? I believe one lawmaker shared there's been rehearsals that have been held there. Have you caught yourself at any point, walking the wrong way to go to the new space? Anything like that as you sort of adjust?
It's going to be a big adjustment. The sound is completely different in there. Mm-hmm. The speaker system carries completely different. So, and the look is different. The boards are different on the walls, and how some of the I say machinery, but the voting buttons and stuff in front of us are a little bit different. So it's going to it takes some adapting and getting used to, but overall I think it'll be fine. It's just not going to be the Capitol. There's so much history, so much nostalgia there to be in that Capitol that it's going to be sad not to be in it.
How do you feel?
I'm appreciative of the new chambers and such, but it's quite sterile in comparison to what the Capitol, the chambers were. I mean, that's a lot of history. It's the allure. It's the fanfare. You feel like you're a part of Kentucky history every moment you walked in there. And I would say a prayer to the good Lord and just thank Him for the opportunity. I'm going to do the same thing in the new doctor's office space is what I call it, because that's what it feels like. But other than that, I think that folks have really gone out of their way to try to make sure that our experience as legislators is, for the most part, unchanged, and also that the public can interact in ways that they can. So.
Yeah, if there's any folks that are wondering if there was too much expense spared on these new spaces, I can promise they are very compact and they are not decorative at all in the slightest. So what you're sharing there about the history, I recall just kind of taking a final moment to myself when I was in the building, like, this is it, I don't know when I'll be back. So it'll be something whenever Tuesday gets here.